This is the latest Remnant Fly. This is a kind of a white miller style dry fly. Ran across the white hackles here. I had an extra bit of Kehoe dry fly hackle. And just got to thinking that that's not too far off in our neck of the woods in terms of in the mid to late summer, getting a nice hatch of white miller mayflies. So I just thought if I had some white dubbing, it might be kind of nice just to do an all white. It's a Catskill style dry fly. Very simple, very basic. But that is the latest Remnant Fly, and I'll go ahead and get started tying. So I'm going to start the latest Remnant Fly with my hook and the vise. I'm going to say this is an R50. It's a Mustad 94-840 standard dry fly hook. Looks a little heavy. It might even be a 3906 nymph hook. The wire looks a little heavier for dry fly, but that's what we're going to use it for, is a little dry fly. I'm going to debarb the hook. I'm going to attach my thread. For thread, I'm using a Danville 70 denier and white. This is, like I said, it's just a simple white miller type dry fly. So you basically keep everything all white. I'm going to attach my thread a little bit behind the eye of the hook, run it down to the point of the hook. I'm going to tie in the tail. For the tail, I've got, this is just a, I think it's an American American Rooster saddle that I'm just going to grab a few of these barbs off here. I want some of the stiffer ones that are going to be up towards this end for the tail. I don't need a lot. It's just a little dry fly, but I just want to have a little clump here that's going to be, I tie these in at least the length of the shank to the eye, front of the eye of the hook. Some people like them the full hook length, but I think a shank length is too short. So I'm going to tie these in a little bit longer. I think longer tails on your mayfly type dry flies support the fly much better. I'm going to trim this the length of the body. Nothing fancy with this fly. It's going to be just a white dubbed, probably a superfine dubbing I think I have here, and then a collared white dry fly hackle. I've got a little bit of dubbing here. I think this, like I said, is just a superfine. It's a synthetic, that's for sure, with a few stray black fibers of something in there. You can make this a level body if you want, or taper it. I'm probably going to go ahead and taper it. So if you think of your Catskill style flies, that's basically what this is going to end up in terms of how it's tied and put together. Very simple. Ideally, I would have the dubbing be a little bit cleaner in terms of how white it is. I think I've got, because this is all of my remnant stuff and all packed together, I end up with a few darker fibers of something in there. If I can't get something a little cleaner and cover that up. There you go. So I get a little tapered body there. And I've got just an extra, I think this is a Kehoe dry fly hackle, something like that. I want to measure this so that those barbs are going to be at least the gap of the hook. I like to go a little bit wider. Again, I think if they're a little wider, longer I should say, it helps to support the front of the fly in the film. I'm going to use about half of this feather. I trim that away. Now on the bottom here, I'm going to trim probably about 4 to 5, maybe a half dozen of those barbs off of there, and then trim away on both sides just above that, or I should say pull away. So what I end up with is I got a few stubby barbs here that'll help to anchor that in when I tie it, but this is clean. And the reason for that is that when I start to wrap this in, the barbs won't, I don't have any barbs trapped like this and pointing in a rearward direction along the body. They will actually all stick out perpendicular. See, I have none of them that are trapped rearward. They're just all going to be sticking out this way. Now I'm actually wrapping one wrap behind where I wrap that in, then I'm moving forward. And I'm keeping these tight together because I like to have on these little flies like this a nice tight bushy collar. I'm going to go back a little bit all the way to the back again and come back up front through all of that. And then I'm going to tie that off right behind the eye of the hook. Trim away the excess here. And then push all of this back. So that I get all those barbs trapped a little bit rearward, at least not pointing out over the eye of the hook. Small little head in there. Use some black thread to finish that off if you want just a little bit of contrast right up front. See, that gives me a nice solid collar right there. You could even make that tail a little bit longer if you wanted to on that. But that is going to be a very nice little dry fly. Get some floating on that. That will ride very, very well, and it'll be a nice representation of a white miller when the time comes. Possibly even a caddis, I suppose. So there you have it. That is the latest Remnant Fly. It's a little white miller style dry fly. Thanks for watching today. Thank you for joining me at the Vise today. I hope you learned a new pattern, at least a tip or trick here and there. If you'd like to help Dress Irons, you can like, comment, share, subscribe, all those wonderful things for the video. You can also head out to dressedirons.com where you can buy flies, tools, stickers, and merch, or you can join a growing community over on Locals at the Dressed Irons Fly Tying Guild. You can also donate to Dressed Irons if you want through the link at the bottom of the description. I thank everybody for their ongoing support, as it really does help the creation of these videos. But what's important is to remember, only fly tying. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.